she doesn't want to be on film. Come on, Papa. This is my little energy pup. Anytime I start doing Reiki, she comes running and lays right down. Gets right up against all that good energy. Our bodies are not just mechanical mechanisms that get us from one place to the other. Our bodies are made up of trillions of cells, and all of those cells are receptors. They all pick up vibration. We are vibration machines. We send off electromagnetic pulses with every thought and every motion, every emotion. We pick up all of those around us, and I think that is why I really love Reiki so much, because once I started to see my body as a receiver and a projector of frequency, emotion, vibration, I realized that I really need a lot of work on getting that tuned in, relaxed, calmed down. And so I'd really love to help anybody else who feels the need to soothe their nervous system. Something I learned recently about the nervous system, which I think a part of me knew, but I don't know that I really gave it enough thought, was that we have certain things we can and can't do when our nervous system is in fight or flight, which is called the sympathetic nervous system. And one thing that really struck me was, if you're being chased by a tiger, which is the same status and mechanism that we are in, even when we're just thinking about thoughts that stress us out, or preparing for something to happen, like the kids are out playing on the swing set and they're being rough, but you don't want to get involved, but also your nervous system is like, oh my god, they're gonna fall, they're gonna smash heads, they're gonna, I don't know what. My kids like to climb on top of each other and all go on the swing at the same time. So anyway, one at a time, please. When we're in that state, we are just not able to digest our food. And some of us even more than others, I think. Sometimes you might be that person like I am that gets like a total sick to your stomach feeling, or such a clenching in your stomach when just like the tension in the room is high. Somebody's grouchy when they woke up, or I don't know, somebody didn't like somebody's tone, so now they're being prickly. Accessing reasoning ability, not possible when you're being chased by a tiger. You're not going to reason your way out of it, right? So you have no reason for your brain to jump to that part and light that part up and start having a reasonable conversation about how stressed you are. It's just never going to happen. I know that some people, when they're in an argument, they just feel so bombarded with tension that they can't even find any words. I'm more of the I can find all the curse words, but I can't find much else. And so it's not a very good way of expressing how I'm feeling. But when you're aware of it, it becomes a whole lot easier to, avoid trying to have those conversations or eat that food in those certain moments. And then also prioritizing what you're going to react to so that you can have a reasonable time with the people that you love. I don't have it all figured out yet, but knowing what our bodies can and can't do when we're in that state just puts like such a different light on it. And with Reiki, I think the most powerful thing about it is that, like, I work on my own self Reiki every day. So as the life force energy that I'm channeling comes through, it's like I'm being filled up like a sponge. And so everything else can come out, and I'm not absorbing whatever else the person on my table is sending out to the universe. They're more like soaking up their own sponge and releasing energetically out their feet anything that they don't need. And I think the real beauty in that is that all of the fibers wrapped up around all their muscles are getting that electromagnetic frequency that is saying you're safe. And when your body is constantly able to feel that safety, everything shifts. Your inflammation, your patterned thinking, even. I mean, I think that takes some effort, but like, it's doable, you know? I posted in a story, I don't know if you can hear me, sorry. I posted in a story on Facebook that the heart is like the center of your receiving and sending of all these electromagnetic pulses. And so when you stop thinking about your heart as a battery and you start thinking about it as a radio station and a receiver, it really shifts how much impact you feel like you have on the world, and prioritizes what you want to do with that energy. You know, like, you suddenly feel quite a lot more powerful when you realize what you're thinking is being transmitted, whether you know it or not. And I think if you're a sensitive person, especially, I don't know, this midlife time frame, I feel like it becomes so much easier to recognize how sensitive some of us have always been, or all of us really. I mean, we are built this way, but we put up all these shields and we believe all of the hype that like we're this vessel that someone else has to help keep us healthy, when that's nonsense. We can put nutritious food in our body, we can exercise, but more important than all of that is we can direct our thoughts. And when you direct your thoughts, and you can't do that in a stressed state, so you really have to practice finding that calm state. I think this has been the missing key for me personally, is like, I've known for such a long time that directing my thoughts is the key to, you know, managing my stress, my chronic stress, if I'm being honest, and chronic tension, and like always being braced for something that isn't even happening. But when I shifted that to recognize that I can I'm not very good at doing two things at once. I'm trying. When I shifted my perspective to realizing that I can control my thoughts when I'm in a calm state, and so I have to prioritize finding a calm state. And I'm still at the beginning of this journey of finding a calm state, you know, like, this is a fairly new realization for me. But it really makes sense why I'm so drawn to Reiki, because I desperately want to help people find that peace in their body that starts to give them some space to heal. You know, I mean, I'm not healing. Reiki isn't healing you, but it can put your body in this environment that allows you to pull out the healing that you've covered up. I mean, like, I think we are all whole and we are all healed in some sense, but what prevents us from feeling that is really all the projections, the thoughts, the tensions, the beliefs that we are just a body, you know? And I'm not saying everybody thinks that, but I think as a worldview, you know, the media, most of our advertising is paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. And I mean, you know, if you're a consumer of anything on television or radio, then for sure you've been getting this marketing, this messaging your entire life, not to mention the textbooks in the medical community. I'm more and more frustrated with the medical community because whenever we have an issue or a question, it's like if there isn't a pill for it, they don't know what to do with you. And they're not very interested in exploring things they don't understand, right? Because they're not qualified. They didn't learn how to use food as medicine, use rest as medicine. And you can't get paid for that, right? And then their job is to give you things to help you feel better. That's why we go to traditional doctors, is like, fix this. It's inconvenient. I don't like feeling this way. But I love this new idea that we can generate health by prioritizing and finding ways to be in a calm state, which is the healing state. So if you're interested in learning more about Reiki, I would love to work with you or just talk to you about it if you're curious. I have openings in my home, and it's a cute little studio, and I have a sweet little dog, but if you're not into that, she also has a sweet little crate. So contact me. If you know me personally, reach out by text or phone call, or stop me on the sidewalk, and if not, just send me a DM. Let's talk about it. Have a great day.